One of the major issues I realized that I had as a younger adult was my ability or the lack of ability to identify my friendships, to understand who was my friend and who wasn't my friend. And it cost me in some very small ways and some significant ways as well. And a lot of it was down to my naivety. So it's important to also have people around you, but it is more important to have the right people around you so that you don't, at the end of your life, start recounting several backstabbings and betrayals. You are supposed to learn in this episode who are your friends and how you're supposed to vet your friends and know who is for you and who is not for you and who has good intentions towards you. It is important for you to know yourself and know what kind of friend you are and make yourself a quality person and a quality friend to whoever you are friends with to begin with. Because the same way you're thinking of cutting people off, that's the same way that they might be thinking of cutting you off because of your own bad characteristics. In this episode, you are going to understand people you mistake for friends, people who are definitely not your friend, and then people who are your friends. And you will know exactly how to identify all these people in your life and know where to place them. At the end of this episode, I will give you a chart that I use where there are people who are your friends, people who are your acquaintances, people who are your associates. Let's begin with the people who you mistake to be your friends. The first ones are those who you spend a lot of time with. People you spend a lot of time with may include your classmates, your neighbors, your co-workers, your schoolmates. And those people, you see them every day, you have interactions with them every day, and you get very familiar with them. And so those might even be the people you spend all your time with. And it is easy for you to fall into that trap of giving them the loyalty, the support, the attention, the emotional energy that you should naturally give to a friend. And then when you don't get that back and you don't get that reciprocated, you begin to feel lost, you begin to feel disappointed and betrayed. And to avoid that, you need to understand that what they are is just what they are. The schoolmate is the schoolmate, the classmate is the classmate, no matter how long you've known them. Some people have this experience where you've known somebody from your primary school, and then you coincidentally went to the same secondary school, and then you went to the same uni. And over time, you guys have just been in the same space with each other for several years. This period I'm talking about now will be like at least 16 years. And for 16 years, you've seen these people and you consider them your friend, but there is no deep emotion, there's no depth to that relationship. And then when something happens and you're like, "Ah, but I wouldn't do this thing to this person. How come they could do like this? Or why didn't they put me onto the opportunity? Or why didn't they consider me in this way or in that way?" And then that's where you begin to think, okay, are they even my friend? Sometimes you don't even get the realization to even ask yourself if they're your friends or not. The second ones will be people who have the qualities you admire. Personally, this has been my own case. I've always been a self-improvement buff. I always want to do things that will make my life better. I want to be the ultimate guy, you know. And I was looking for positive qualities in myself and in people. And when I see a positive quality that someone else has, I want to copy that. I want to be close to that. And I would tell some of them that, I like the way you're able to do business. There was this particular guy I was friends with. I liked his ability to do business because at that point I had failed in one business, and he had a similar business and he was thriving in it. I liked his discipline, his meticulousness and stuff like that. And I used to tell him, yo, these things I used to read in books. You have all those qualities of successful people. I want to be a successful person, and I used to read books about success a lot, even till today. And I saw some of those qualities that all these successful people had in common, and I saw that this guy had them. And I used to tell him that you have all these qualities, and I really admire those things about you. But that was the reason why I was his friend, or why I thought we were friends, because I was always close to him. And then it was me doing all the chasing. So I was basically a follow. You get? I was basically following them all the time. And I just thought, yeah, maybe it's just, I wasn't even aware. It's the naivety that some of us might fall into. I wasn't aware that this is not how friendship should be. I found some things to be weird, but it didn't register to me in that way. So this is a trap that you can fall into, like I did. And that's a sign of low self-esteem. And a lot of people have it in their body, in them, in varying degrees. But you have to have that confidence in yourself. That is when you begin to think to yourself, you know what, instead of thinking, will this person like me? Think, will I like this person when you meet them? Because now it is your space and your energy and your time that you would give. In all my friendship, I always believe that I've always been open and honest and free giving. And in a lot of cases, because I've made mistakes with picking people and labeling people friends, when it wasn't reciprocated, I felt betrayed in a way. But I didn't understand that I was just some guy to these people. One thing that I think is a telling factor in terms of knowing who your friends are is being able to trace it back to what you bonded over. So there are also people who are definitely not your friends, and they have their own characteristics as well. There's something called Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude is a German word that means taking pleasure in someone else's pain or suffering. So people who have Schadenfreude towards you or for you, like I said, I made friends with people who I admired, and in one of those settings, there were these two guys. Now they were friends with each other, but I admired something in each of them. And so when I used to roll with these guys, we would walk around together, would be walk around together as friends, and walk around campus, and we'll be seen together. But you would think it's regular banter, but two of them always two of them will always gang up against me in the banter. Even on online, there will be cyberbullying going on between two of them against me. You understand? I would just think it's like normal, even though I thought this is not right. You get people used to even tell me, this guy's not your friends. Why are they? I mean, online is crazy, and I'll be like, I would brush it off because I didn't know, I didn't understand that was just wrong. So if you feel that somebody that you consider to be your friend takes some kind of joy in embarrassing you or in your shame, then that is Schadenfreude, and that person is somebody you should be away from, no matter what it is. If you really broaden your horizon, you will say that people who appreciate you for being yourself, and your authenticity is one of the first things that can attract the right people to you. The next one is energy drainers. This is one of the very easiest ones to spot because you can feel it within you. There are certain people that if you go around them, by the time you leave, you feel more energized. There are certain people that by the time you go around them, by the time you leave, you feel drained. It's an energy thing. And if somebody drains your energy all the time you go near them, maybe because of their character, the way they talk, or just something about how they behave, when you're in their presence, you feel tired. You know, that's one obvious sign that you shouldn't be around that person, no matter what it is. Human beings should always strive to be in the highest frequency possible. And I don't mean high like Igbo or anything. I mean to be in a high state of positive energy and consciousness. And you need people to also reinforce that around you, because if I give you good energy and when I'm around you too, you give me good energy, it means that it's just going to be a vicious upward cycle or upward spiral, which is very, very good. And that is why the quality of your friendships can really determine the quality of your life overall. And then there's another one of people who do not believe in your self-improvement plans. If you say that you want to do something or you have this idea, how is it received? If you say something like, especially when it's a dream that is beyond where they are currently. So if we are both, for example, when I was still in uni, I had some friends where I told them, you know what, by this time next year or next 2 years, I should be staying by myself, like in my own house and have my own car. Obviously, I didn't know where that was all going to come from, but I just had this deep conviction that I would not have to suffer and do certain. I would be comfortable. I would live, and not one of the people in that gathering. They were like, I remember it vividly, even though these people might have forgotten. But I remember them saying, "You your big talk." Now that might be just coming from a lack of belief. People who don't believe it, they're even there too, are capable of that kind of life or achievement or success, if that is what you want to call it. But the difference is over time, one of those people who are one of the people that I consider to be one of my great friends today has come back and said, you know what I admire about you is that when you say something you're going to do and you put your mind to it, you always chase it down. And I didn't even need that to be able to say, okay, now that you said this, you're my friend now. Over the course of the years we've been together, he has consistently proven that he's a very good friend, even if he did not believe in my dream at the time. But the other person there who has not come back to say anything, but clearly has seen that I can do something I say I can do, has consistently shown that he's not a very good friend. The last one is people who defend your name in public, or who don't defend your name in public, rather, since these are people that are not your friends. People who don't defend your name in public, and this is a bit difficult to spot because now this happens in your absence. But here's one thing to note. If somebody comes back to tell you, this is what this your friend says about you, there are two things you need to know about that person who has come to tell you that. One, it's either they really like you and they have concerns over your life, and then there are people that you should probably hold dearly as your friends, or they are just regular gossip mongers that are just passing information around and you're just lucky to be a beneficiary of this one. If you want to know whether they're a gossip monger or not, if they tell you things about other people too, so they came, they told you, see what this person said about you, but then they go ahead also to tell you more things about other people that you didn't ask for, then you can know that one is just a gossip monger. On gossip mongers, here is something else you can use to know. So I find it difficult that people really live life like this. So unsolicited information. Sometimes I wonder, why will you be saying these things to me? Are you not worried that I think you're a gossip? I was sitting on one day, and there's this photographer I used to work with, and he was supposed to bring files to the house for me one day that we had recorded before. And then he brought the files. I was trying to copy out the files into my laptop, and then he just started going off and complaining about somebody he works with, who two of us, we both know the person. And so I know the person. So he was complaining about how they're supposed to do something, and that guy is just doing this and that, just complaining, saying all these negative things about that guy. And I have no dog in this fight. I'm not closer to that guy than you. That guy is supposedly your guy. There's no chance, there's no way you tell me now, I'm not going to tell him, okay, this is not fair. There's no chance of that happening. So you're just saying that thing for what exactly? I don't get why that happens or how that is even a thing. So if they don't defend your name in your absence, clearly they're not your friends. It's a non-negotiable. These are my own non-negotiables. These are the things that I consider my core values as well. If you violate any of these, for me, I cannot consider you to be a friend. There's something that I need to let you know. If you want to know if somebody really values you as much as you value them, or is not your friend, and this, I cannot take credit for this. My girlfriend was watching something on TikTok one day, and I overheard it, and probably that's one of the motivations for this episode, where they said if you want to know if somebody is not really your friend, you always feel this invisible hand keeping you away from them, keeping you away from proper intimacy with these people. For friends, it's pretty easy. There is mutual trust and reliability between you and your friends. Mutual trust in the sense that the things I will not do for you or do to you, I am sure you will not do them to me. And we both have that trust, and we are both reliable in that sense that we know each other to this extent and there is no going back on it. Now, you expect these things from people who have violated all these other things that I spoke about first. And that is where that trust gets broken. That is where that reliability ceases to exist. There is also support for personal growth. I've said the opposite of this. And so you understand that when you are saying something about yourself and you have certain dreams about yourself, those people are interested in how you will make it work. There's also mutual respect. Like we said, mutual trust. There's mutual respect. The example I made when I was talking about Schadenfreude. So one of those friends I was talking about that I made friends with because of what the things that I admired about them, I started thinking, what are the things that because obviously if they didn't like me to be their friend, they would have been a bit obvious about it and I would have gotten the hints. But there was something that kept me close to them for. And it dawned on me what that could have been. So recently I had a conversation with somebody that was telling me about this guy. Let's say his name is John. His name is not John. So he was saying, John has some kind of character. Anyway, what he was saying was that he doesn't talk to John anymore. And I was like, why don't you talk to John anymore? Even me too, I don't talk to John anymore. He said John has one kind of weird character. Now when we were in school, John always liked to copy him and do everything he did. That John doesn't have a mind on his own. And I'm like, no, I respect John. Obviously, this is a guy I respected and had, and I used to tell him the qualities he had that were good. They said, no, John doesn't have a mind of his own. He likes to do what other people are doing and doesn't have his own focus. And after telling me how he bought an iPhone and John wanted to go and buy an iPhone. And to me, I thought they were just twinning. I thought they did it together, even though this guy honestly always does his stuff first. But I noticed the pattern he was saying, that he did this and then this guy would go above and beyond to go and do this one too. And I'm actually noticing in my own life as well. In school then, the girls that I would get with, right? If John knew about those girls, behind my back, he would go and start trying to chat to all of them. Like literally all of them that I knew that he had any serious relationships with. He was always going behind my back to try and get with them as well after me. You understand? And he would never tell me about this. So he would never tell me about the girls would come and tell me, this your friend is moving this way. Or if he succeeds, they would tell me. And even recently, where an ex I had broken up with, but while I was still dating the girl, I had introduced them to each other. And then after I broken up with her, one day she was like, this your guy DM me on Instagram. And it's so I found it really weird that kind of so it's probably that that was the relationship, that was what he was getting out of it. So perhaps you should evaluate and see what people are getting out of it. And it's not what you're willing to give, and it's a weird thing. You should probably shift from there because who knows the extent to which you might even get. Ooh, there's even one more thing he did where there was something I and my friends did sometime in 2021 where we dressed up and we went out. It was a chill day, good vibes, and we wore uniform clothing. Yeah, it was dope. And I remember chatting with this guy that period, and I was like, what kind of thing you guys like? It's very corny, and then sometime down the line, let's say last year or 2 years ago, he did the exact same thing. All of these things didn't seem. I didn't push them all together until I started thinking about it and I saw this pattern and it freaked me the fuck out. I'm going to be honest, and I just had to like shift away from there because you don't know what person might want to wear your skin next. Anyway, so shared positive experience is the last one that I think your friends would want to have with you. If somebody is going to do something nice, like if I want to play football, I rather play football with my friends. I rather play football with people that I call friends because it's better, it's sweeter. So if somebody is going to do something, especially when it's not a case of okay, they will spend money and you cannot afford and you cannot afford to bring you along, that one is different. The shared positive experience is something that your friends would always want. And if you have friends that you love, you want to do stuff with them. You have access to blog post versions of our episodes, links to the various platforms where you can find good living content in long form and short form format, and also merchandise for you, like this mug here, so that you can have a piece of good living in your home. You can find this at goodlivingpodcast.com or scan the QR code on your screen right now. Let's get back to the episode. There's a chart where in the inner circle, you can see that it's your friends. In the outer circle, associates, and in the outermost circle is acquaintances. Your friends are these people that I have described now, those who have mutual trust and reliability with you, those who share your core values, those who support your personal growth, those who have honest and open communication with you, and those who have mutual respect, with whom you both share mutual respect. And lastly, those who enjoy having shared positive experiences with you, those who enjoy sharing positive experiences with you. Those are the people who fit into this category in your life are people that you can call friends. And over my life, I left uni and I can only count 3 people that are my very good friends. In everybody I met in university, only 3 friends I think I have. I will add an extra one that I call trash. Trash is basically where you keep people who violate your core values. Like, for example, one of my core values is loyalty. I believe I will not do something to quack you. I don't have a proper word that I can think of in this moment. But do something to quack you, do something that can hurt you, something that can hurt you behind your back. All these things that I said, the people who are not your friends, people who do that are the ones who belong in trash because those ones have something that borders on dislike, resentment, hatred, and jealousy, and all those things for you and they should be in trash. So if you can stay away from those people as much as possible. And it's not to hide it from them. If somebody is complaining that there's something about people that is not right, you tell them where they are in your life and why they are there. If they violated something, tell them where they violated. And tell them why you cannot come back from that. Bonus points about friendships. And I think this is a very, very telling one as well. How do they react to good news? Your good news. If you have something good happen to you, and you call them up or you tell them that I just had this thing happen to me. Do they join in your celebration? Are they curious about how they are going to enjoy this win? How they're going to celebrate this win? You know? Or is it the opposite? Do they have something else to say? Do they have another person's win to tell you about or another person's story to compare yours to? Or do they not want to hear it? It's a subconscious thing when people try to, you know, immediately overshadow your good news with some good news of their own or someone else. It's a need to overshadow your shine. And it is subconscious. So they might not even know that it is obvious what they are doing, but this is how you can catch it. Thank you very much for listening and watching the Good Living Podcast. Peace.